an ultimate global podcast. Hello, and welcome to our special weekly podcast on trending international and social affairs. You're listening to Saurabh Kora and George Mavros from Sydney.
So good evening to one and all, to another exciting episode of Ultimate Global Podcast. I think Dovidas is joining us today from another country. So we have been able to touch another country in this podcast. So good to know that. And we are discussing about this topic on making the best use of LinkedIn. So Dovidas is a business development representative at LinkedIn. It's a platform for providing professional consulting services to help people and businesses grow with the power of LinkedIn. We all understand the power of LinkedIn these days, with almost every company and every person um, being there, and they're trying to build their personal brand and also their company brand there. So I thought it's a good topic to discuss with someone who can be considered as an expert, or at least working for a company uh, which is providing consulting services to others. So Novidas, I would I would ask you this first question as to how do you think people can build their brand on LinkedIn, and how can they make the best use of it?
Yes, thanks for the lovely introduction, first of all, and about LinkedIn. So mostly we are meeting 80% of people like virtual. So imagine that. Like nowadays, it's a perfect tool to use. You can see all the data there. You can see what are their experts there. So it's perfect tool, and just use it. Use it the same as TikTok. Use it the same as Facebook or Instagram. Just use it, but don't treat the same as other platforms. And there's like a point why you should. There's a point why there's a connect button, but instead of friend button, like on Facebook. So we have to build the relationships there. That's the platform for relationships. And yeah, just be creative. Try engage with others. Create content by yourself. As like the statistics as that at the moment there is just 1% of all LinkedIn users that create content actively. Just 1%. So imagine that. What an opportunity you have to showcase yourself, showcase your personal brand. So yeah, just start by little. Don't try to do everything in the beginning. Test things, check what works for you, what doesn't work, and implement it. Start commenting on other posts, on other people content, and later on, after you're a bit more of an expert on this platform, start content by yourself. And what's is important that you have to create an habit here, and do it not fluently, like consistently, and be persistent, engage, go with messaging, create content, and yeah, make it consistently.
I think let's try to dig a bit deeper here, Dovidas, to
Mhm.
understand it from a layman's point of view. And a lot of people might be knowing about LinkedIn. A lot of people might not be knowing about LinkedIn. So when you say that, like TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook, you need to be on LinkedIn, what do you mean by that? From a person who might not be so punctual on LinkedIn, and
Mhm.
some people don't post it that regularly, but still they get a lot of good referrals, lot of good marketing. The people from George era don't even know about LinkedIn to that extent that the millennials or the Gen Z might be using it these days. So how
Mhm.
would you say to those kind of people, how can they make use of LinkedIn?
Yeah, so LinkedIn is mostly B2B platform, so not like Twitter or Facebook. It's more for B2B, and yeah, like LinkedIn is the platform that you can see professionals mostly. And like, on Facebook there are like a lot of strange people, let's say it like that. On LinkedIn it's the same, of course, but there is like more of professionals. So you can see, like LinkedIn is the number one platform for me for news. I mean, I read it every day, and I see all the information, business related, mostly information there. So if you're business oriented person, I think this platform is your go-to platform, and you should be on this platform.
Yep. I might also throw a question to George here, because George is also working in having his own business called Etsy Consulting. He has got a big network beyond LinkedIn, so I don't think he really needs LinkedIn to get referrals for his business or really get a lot of things. But would love to know, George, how are you using LinkedIn, and how do you think it has kind of changed the way the B2B marketing works as a whole?
So my original entry into LinkedIn was out of curiosity, and it was also to have a long-term market research that I could vouch for the person that conducted the research, because that person was me. I know what that person did. I know what that person didn't do. I know what that person has received from it, and I know what that person has put into it. So my original intention was to be very selective in the people that I connect with, and to build a network. And I was aiming to get 1,000 people in my network. I've now got more than 1,000, but I think it's only about 1,500. I actually couldn't tell you how many I have. To me, LinkedIn has never been a business generating strategy for me. I've been very fortunate for probably more than 10 years now that better than 95% of my business either comes from referrals or comes from somebody hearing me talk somewhere or doing something somewhere and then wanting to engage. So what I've found with LinkedIn is a whole lot of people that don't understand what business etiquette's about. And so those are the people that would be terrible in face-to-face sales and marketing, and they're just terrible in online marketing. If you don't understand the basics of sales and you don't understand the basics of marketing, be it Facebook, LinkedIn, or anything else, all it does is give you an opportunity to stuff up with a lot more people at the press of a button. One of the things that I'm still not convinced, and I've yet to meet somebody that can actually give me hardcore evidence, and that is that LinkedIn has generated substantial dollars and substantial revenue. So maybe Davidas, you're able to explain to me where I can find that information, because I've not been able to find people to. Everybody tells me, oh, I've got 40,000 connections and I've got 20,000 likes and I've got 6,000 people saw this and 3,000 people did this and all that sort of stuff. But for as long as I've been in sales and marketing, if I go out and do 10 calls and I get one sale, that's a pretty bad day. If somebody says spend $100,000 on advertising and I can't see the graph move, that's a pretty bad spend. And I'm yet to be convinced that LinkedIn has actually delivered, other than validation and marketing of people. So I'm David, how long have you been doing this, and your company LinkedIn? How long have they been in this area?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so LinkedIn started, like, we are now for 3 years in the market, and we started by social selling, and everything started by that. So like you mentioned that LinkedIn doesn't generate for you leads like a lot, but for us it's, I could say that 90% of the our prospects leads are from LinkedIn, and it's by our content, because every employee in LinkedIn is creating content daily, almost weekly, and we are generating like real prospects by our, like, yeah.
So is that, David, is that by people actually connecting to you or you reaching it? Like I have 5 to 10 people every week contact me and say, I'd like to connect with you because I think you're great. I think you're fantastic. You're just brilliant. Oh my gosh, I can do this. And within 3 connections to me, they then, do you want to buy a house? Do you want to buy this? Do you want to buy that? Are you generating leads by people working with your content and then contacting you, or are you getting your leads and business by you using LinkedIn to reach out to people? So I do talks. I talk to 50 people.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm going to get between 5 and 10 of those people will contact me at the end of my talk. That's not me going out to 50 people and saying, do you want to buy a book?
Yeah, true. So mostly the biggest percent is going to us directly. Like we're not contacting them, and because we're creating content that is engaging, that that gives some value to them, we're giving about LinkedIn some value, and that's how because we are like, they know that like it's marketing, you know, if we give value, they understand later on that like if they think we need some help with LinkedIn, so who do you think they will come to? They will come to us because they saw someday like few months ago some post about us, about LinkedIn, and they will come to us probably. So that's the point of personal brand. That's the point of brand awareness of the company. And yeah, so as I said, like 90% of our leads come inbound, and let's say 10% we are contacting them.
Your postings and your content, is that more marketing material, or do you also do sales orientated posting and content? So
yeah, so like we have a strategy that we have 4 posts that are related with more, as you say, marketing, or I would say more of giving value, like talking about some specific thing on LinkedIn, how to do that. And one post is more of sales about our services. So 4-1 rule. So that's how we use it. 4 posts with marketing more, and 1 post just like more with sales related.
Yeah. I think, Dovidas, it will be great for you to tell us about this thing that you're saying that you post relevant content, you post engaging content. So, what do you mean by that? For me, engaging content can be posting a podcast once or twice a week. For George, engaging content can be, posting about something about the students, or maybe he's been in touch with a lot of mentorship conclaves in Sydney. He want to post about that, or he want to reshare something which is trending in the market. What do you mean by an engaging post?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so first of all, you should like know your ICP and your potential customer. Who is that person? And you should think like, what questions does he has? You know, what problems does he has, and put it like through that problems and about that. And what I like also to do, I always in most of my content, I put a question in the end, like to engage more with them, that they would comment. And engagement, I'm talking more of commenting than liking, because comments are more valuable than just likes or so on. And yeah, as you mentioned, it should be like meaningful. The content should be relevant also. That's really important. And don't try to go viral. It's not like it's not the point to go viral. And like you probably saw the crying CEO or something post like that, and probably it's I mean, it's discussable.
That must have looked like such a great idea when he wrote it down on paper. Shame it blew up in his face when he put it into it.
Yeah, so I mean that's discussable, but you should focus on delivering the content consistently and giving value to your audience.
Yeah, I think the way you are
just on that point, David, there's the old saying that all advertising is good advertising. So how do you see the outcome of the crying guy? Do you see that it was okay, well, he's still generated, there's a whole lot of people reacted, blah, blah, blah? Or do you see it that it did more harm to him than good?
It's a good question. Actually, I wasn't super into it, deep, like trying to figure out what was happening there and what's the point of that and so on. But I would say that it was more harmful for him than it was more positive, because of course he got some positive feedbacks for sure. That's for sure. But I saw a lot of negatives also. So I probably I wouldn't like to deep down into this deeper, but there are two points of that. So
yeah.
What do you think, George, about it?
I've never supported the theory that all advertising is good advertising. To me, to suggest that, oh, isn't it great? Half of Australia knows about me because they think I'm an idiot. So you've got plenty of people know you. They just all think you're an idiot. I would much rather have 1/10 of Australia know about me, but every one of them think I'm a good guy. I think for me, a lot of that sort of stuff, I question because, as Saurabh knows, I am forever a strategist. My wife says I can't go and make a cup of coffee without a strategy, and she's probably right, actually. So to me, there's a lot of people that don't have a strategy in LinkedIn, and so they see Saurabh doing something. Oh, he got a lot of traction. I'll do that. Then they see me do something. They see you do something. They see 20 other people. So what you're actually looking at is this mishmash of sales and marketing. There is no consistency. I mean, for all the abuse and for all the people, myself included, that think Donald Trump's a raving lunatic, he still managed to get a third of America to think he was a good guy. And how did he do it? Well, he pretty well stayed on brand. He was just a lunatic all the way through. And if that's what you're into, he's your man. So, if nothing else, we have to acknowledge he's been consistent, even though he may be erratic at times, but he's been consistent on this, crazy persona.
True. And like you always will have some haters. So.
I also feel, Dovidas, that since you are talking about LinkedIn in so much of detail, I see in the coming 1 or 2 years, we can have a specialist working in every company, and that job title can be LinkedIn manager. With that person is just managing LinkedIn for that company all throughout the week, and the role of that person is just to post engaging content, just to search on what is engaging content and then post it out. Do you think that LinkedIn manager specifically can be a post, or it will still be a part of marketing or sales manager?
Actually, there are now some LinkedIn managers. I know some in Lithuania that are working mostly with LinkedIn. Of course, they are a bit of, let's say, marketing managers, but 90-80% of their work is with LinkedIn. So we can call them LinkedIn managers. And for sure, I think in the future, it's going to be like, it could be a new role, because LinkedIn is growing. We have now more than 880 million active users on LinkedIn and in all the world. And like that's the number one place where you can do your brand awareness. Employee branding is going up every day, and employee branding is really important here for startups, let's say, and for companies. So I think this role could be a future role, and these LinkedIn experts could be really, really important.
What kind of post do you think, Dovidas, generally captures the audience attention? Because I saw that in your LinkedIn, you have got more than 5,000 followers. Most of your recent posts that I saw had a very good engagement in terms of people who are liking or sharing your posts and people who are commenting on your posts. So I thought it would be a good question to ask you. What do you think should go in the post, in the sense that some people say that just a short text should go in there, or we should also fill it with some emojis, engaging emojis. We should also post some sort of videos during the week. How would you
Mhm.
describe good content for the post?
Actually, there's no rule for good post, good content, because you have to find yourself what is good content for you. For example, I have a friend who posts just visuals, like I mean with text, but also all the time visuals, and most of the time it's his face there. So he's creating his brand awareness, and he, like people will easily remember him because every post that he posts is his face, so it is super easy to remember that person. In my case, I don't like to take a pictures, and it's not my hobby, so why I should do posts that are with pictures? So like most of my posts are just text because I'm better at copywriting, and that's my skill, I would say. So you have to like find yourself the best way how to create content, the best, the best language that you can speak with the content. And if it's a video, it's okay. Not even like videos are not super with video, it's harder to get bigger reach on LinkedIn. And but yeah, you have to find out yourself. And I like emojis. Of course, you shouldn't put a lot of emojis in one post. uh, you know the biggest part, the biggest mistake for creators, for starters, I would say, is that they put everything in, let's say, one plain text, without pinpoints, without spaces, and that's super hard to read. It's like, I because you have to attract person in just like, you have just 3 seconds, let's say, or you have to attract from the first sentence the person to read. So make it easy to readable, and yeah, try to talk about that person. So that's the point. But you have to find yourself what is the perfect way for you to create the content. And for sure, I didn't get, in the beginning, like a lot of reach and a lot of engagement. So you have to be consistent, and you have to be consistent. The biggest part is to show there every day, and if you want to create content on LinkedIn and get bigger reach every day.
Yeah. Do you have any questions for Dovidas, George?
Not necessarily a question, but I would like to make a point on your earlier discussion about having somebody who is a LinkedIn specialist or a LinkedIn expert. And to me, you can change that to a social media or a digital media or an online media. One of the mistakes I've seen numbers of businesses make is that they'll bring somebody in who certainly knows all about LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter or this. And that person's responsibility is to then put us up on the internet and away you go. That is no different to traditional business where I bring in a sales manager, but I don't bother to tell the sales manager what my ethics are. I don't bother to tell the sales manager what our rules are. I don't bother to tell the sales manager what our mission statement is. And so he might be the greatest, or she might be the greatest sales manager or marketing person or advertising person, but they're representing your company. So I think Sarab, you're probably right. This position will become more and more um, common in years to come. And the companies that will do best from it will be the companies that actually put out their message, not the message of some person whose main interest is to get 24,000 likes or 16,000 clicks. You can. I have a contact that has over 40,000 connections on LinkedIn. we have been involved in several online campaigns where we've been doing a podcast or a Zoom seminar or whatever. I send out 10 emails and I bring in 7 to 10 people. The reason I don't get 10 all the time is because there is 2 or 3 of them that are busy. But whoever's available, I pick my email and I target my email and I bring in those people. We have never, ever, 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 ever had an event where that gentleman has ever brought in more than 2 people. So 42,000 connections, terrific. 2 people, what does that? What's the value? So I think companies need to understand what is it you're trying to achieve, and LinkedIn is just another sales and marketing tool. And if you don't get it right, you're not going to achieve it.
Absolutely. And I think that's where the importance of a LinkedIn specialist or expert can come in, because that person will solely be responsible to give you results on LinkedIn. And he's going to report to you or the marketing manager to give the results that he has produced he or she has produced over a period of week, over a period of month. That, okay, so I reached out to 20 people, this is what I reached out to, that's how I reached out to, and we have been able to build 100 quality connections in the last 2 weeks. But if as a salesperson or a marketing person I'm doing that, I might not do that on a qualitative basis, as you just said, George. I might do it on a quantitative basis, sending it to 100 people but having only one quality connection. So that can be the biggest mistake. But before we end today's session, Dovidas, I would definitely want to ask you one last question, which is related to the overall concept of personal branding. I feel that LinkedIn is now becoming a platform. Just I'm moving away from the content part now towards the personal brand. Overall, I think that LinkedIn is a great platform to build your personal brand. Recruiters also see your LinkedIn profile more than your resume. So if you can put good content on your featured posts, if you can get recommendations from the right people on your LinkedIn profile, people generally look at that as well. If you have showcased your experiences on LinkedIn in the right manner, and also added the right skills, people really refer and recommend you, isn't it?
True, true, true. And the point is that you shouldn't treat LinkedIn as your CV. It's the most part is for students. Don't treat LinkedIn as your CV. Treat it as your personal landing page. That's my point. And I mean, you can do everything with LinkedIn. You can reach any person that you want, even the like decision makers on any company. So if you're trying to find the internship, a job or something, just find out the decision makers on some company. Try to check what companies you want to be in. Try to check what are the what are the main people that will be your boss, let's say like this, and see if that person is like really professional, and if you would like to work with him, just go to him and contact him. So that's the power of personal brand. And if you will have optimized profile, if you have like some content that you create, they will see that you're ambitious, they will see that you're trying to find out something from this world, trying to achieve something. For sure they will talk with you. And yeah, I mean, as I'm saying, like I had a friend that said uh, he doesn't know any other better platform that you could see people's data on. I mean, even for salespeople, that's this amazing platform. You can see all the data about person. You can see all the information about person. And the biggest part, the best part is that they put all the information by themselves. So you're not dealing with privacy, you're not dealing with GDPR or something, and that's all their information. So you can, if you have a call or something, you can start with a small talk, and they will be happy, and they will know that you research something about the company, you research something about the person, and yeah, that's really powerful. And I think LinkedIn is going to be #1 platform for professionals. It is now, and it's going to be like far in the future also number one platform and number one platform for B2B business too.
Yep, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, David.
Sarab,
Yep,
may I
go
just
for it.
ask, David has just raised a
Yeah.
point, and I don't want to go without taking advantage of having somebody with this ability here. So there's been a number of flames, outbreaks based on political position and things like that. And I've had a number of people, a couple of very good friends of mine, who believe that all this politics and that has no right to be on LinkedIn. All that sort of stuff is for Facebook, etc. And you shouldn't be talking about your political views and that on a platform like LinkedIn. For me, my LinkedIn has what I believe in. So it has, I talk about the mentoring I do with students. I talk about the charity work that I do. I talk about my business stuff. And one of the reasons I've kept it that way is because I've always seen LinkedIn for me as a validator, not a business generator, but Sarab said to speak to George. Oh yeah, I like this guy, or I don't like this guy. So they can qualify me by having a look at it. And on that basis, I'm not afraid to put my position as to where I stand with political views in that. What's your take on that, David?
I totally agree with you, George. And I think that's the platform, where you can put your opinion on it. And of course, I haven't seen a lot of political, let's say, content on this platform because it's more business related. But I would agree with you, and I think that's not a bad place to put your opinion about. Maybe if you're like politicating a lot there, maybe that's not the best platform for you. But like once a month, twice a month, maybe it's not that bad. And who knows? Maybe you'll get some support from your audience. And yeah, I would agree with you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, George. Thank you so much, Dovidas.
Thank you.
And I've been in touch with you now for 3 to 4 months. So this was long due. I was thinking to invite you earlier in April or May, but finally we were able to set some mutual availability this evening. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I would also like to invite you to our first year anniversary on 30th of August. It's
Okay.
almost at the same time for you. So I've sent you an email invite. I just saw that I haven't included you in the calendar invite, so I sent you an invite. And I think I've also sent you an invite on LinkedIn event that we have created. So I hope to see you there because you can meet some other lovely speakers that we have had in the last 1 year. It's a good chance for you also to network with other speakers. And we might tell something interesting, some surprises. I don't think that will be a surprise for people outside Sydney, but yeah, for people in Sydney, there is definitely a surprise element, which I'm going to tell on behalf of Ultimate Global Podcast. So stay tuned for that.
Okay, cool. Thank you for this podcast. It was lovely meeting you.
This is an Ultimate Global Podcast. Hello, and welcome to our special weekly podcast on trending international and social affairs. You're listening to Saurabh Kora and George Mavros from Sydney.